Madeline Rivera, the plate is set to you at the North Lawn, where we could be getting new reaction now on the jobs number moments ago. We can begin there. Maddie, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. That's right. 178,000 jobs added last month, better than expected, and a welcome sign. The president will see it as that after weeks of uncertainty because of this war, which looks like it will build up before it eventually comes to a close. The president saying the Strait of Hormuz has been a thorn in his side. In a new Truth Social post, he says, with a little more time, we can easily open the Hormuz Strait, take the oil, and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world. Notably, the president does not lay out how the U.S. would reopen the strait. Still, Iran remains defiant. The country's foreign minister is saying striking civilian structures, including unfinished bridges, will not compel Iranians to surrender, all but signaling more escalation in the weeks to come. During that time, we could find out more about the president's choice to lead the Justice Department. A senior administration official framed this move as part of a need for new leadership and not a sign of bad blood. But Attorney General Pam Bondi, former Attorney General Pam Bondi, has been under public scrutiny, especially as it relates to her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case and the Justice Department's finding that there was no definitive client list. Interim AG Todd Blanche is brushing off the notion that Bondi's ouster had anything to do with Epstein.
First of all, I have never heard President Trump say that the Attorney General that anything that happened to her had anything to do with the Epstein files. And so, look, the Epstein files has been a saga that's lasted for the past year.
There are several names reportedly being floated to replace Bondi. Environmental Protection Agency head Lee Zeldin is seen as a favorite. Sources say Blanche could be nominated permanently as well, but Democrats say Blanche, who served as the president's personal attorney in 3 of his criminal trials, is another loyalist.
It doesn't give me a lot of comfort that it's Todd Blanche, who's now the acting Attorney General of the United States. This is the guy who transferred Ghislaine Maxwell from the higher security prison to the low security prison camp in Texas, and has arranged for a very sweet landing for her there.
The White House, though, is brushing off reports that the president is considering replacing DNI Tulsi Gabbard. The White House saying the president has the utmost confidence in her.
Hey, Madeline, thank you. Madeline Rivera leading us off today on this Good Friday morning from the White House. Thank you.
Okay, let's bring in Jonathan Turley, our amazing legal eagle. Jonathan, you were on this breaking news yesterday. You've had some time to digest this now. I want to ask you the question that everybody in Washington is asking, and that's whether or not anyone can do the job of the AG and do whatever it is that the president wants to happen. This is Todd Blanche here last night with Jesse Waters, talking about the frustration perhaps in the White House with some of these cases like the Letitia James one, the James Comey one, Brennan, not really going anywhere. Listen to him.
Everybody is frustrated because what we saw happen for the past 4 years is unforgivable and can never happen again. And so certainly I don't mind the frustration. I appreciate the frustration because we do have to make sure that what happened for 4 years never happens again. And I'm honored that President Trump has asked me to step in as acting, and also much appreciative for what Pam Bondi did for the past year.
So is Todd Blanche or anyone else going to be able to do the job that Pam Bondi couldn't do?
Oh, I think that you can. It's a challenge. This isn't the first president who thought that the power of personality can overwhelm precedent. All presidents want change. They want it now, and they want change makers in these positions. But you're going to have no shortage of applicants. This is a job that has ample power and perks. The only thing it doesn't have is really job security. This is the president, became famous with the tagline, "You're fired." He tends to change personnel when he wants to push along what he thinks is progress and the objectives he needs to obtain. So, he's a tough boss. There's no question about that, particularly for attorneys general. But he's also someone who's very clear about what the objectives are. Now, this is a very deep bench that they're looking at. They have some real talent here. The interesting thing about this is they all have different skill sets. Todd Blanche is a really nice guy, but he is a really tough guy. I mean, I've seen him in court. He's a fantastic litigator. Lee Zeldin is a very popular figure on the Hill. He'd probably be the easiest confirmation. And he's known as having crossover appeal. This is someone who almost became a Republican governor of New York, something that a lot of people didn't think was even in the realm of possibility. But you have about a dozen other people who would be very good options for this position.
I've read 5 different reasons as to why she failed to live up to the billing. I don't know what the real answer is, but maybe we'll figure out in time. And I'm curious whether or not the DOJ acts in a different way under new leadership, and we'll see where that goes. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.